Hey, what's up guys, it's R3 here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Sucks, mate.
What?
Yeah, seriously, what the fuck is it, mate? You got a fucking, like, moon on it?
Yeah,
Well, you hyped the sun and moon or some shit. You thought it'd be cool to have that aesthetic.
Kinda.
And what's the deal with the color scheme there?
I like it.
You got fucking white, you got grey, you got reds. You got oranges. What is the deal with it?
I think it looks.
What's the insignia on your hat supposed to fucking mean?
Well, it's
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't mean shit because you just thought it looked cool.
God, screw this.
What the fuck is with what are those shoes?
They're fine. I don't get what's.
Seriously,
you know
what
what?
are those?
Fuck this. I'm out.
What the fuck is this?
Just shut up.
Yeah,
Bye.
that's
I'm
right,
going.
yeah,
I'm going. All right. This I can deal with. Anyways, we're going to be getting into a review of The Binding of Isaac Rebirth on the first episode of Retrospect Reviews. Let's get right into it.
See you again.
The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, a game developed and published by Nicalis with art and design by Edmund McMillan and composition by Matthias Bozzi and John Evans. It was released on November 4th, 2014 to, from what I can gather, to be universal acclaim. Rebirth itself is a remake of the original Binding of Isaac developed by McMillan and Florian Hinsel. First released back in 2012 as a Flash-based game, the limitations of Flash ended up crippling McMillan's original vision for the game, which later led him to work with Nicalis to create a Rebirth, a remake of The Binding of Isaac in a much more robust, hardy game engine to give the game itself the coat of paint that McMillan had envisioned it to have from conception. Rebirth is actually on a plethora of platforms. I was really surprised when I saw the list. You've got Windows, OS X, Linux, PS4, Vita, Wii U, 3DS, Xbone, iOS, and from what I read, it's even come to the Nintendo Switch in Q2 of this year. Rebirth was followed up with two expansions, Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus, which I may review at a later point in time. But what do I think about it? Well, let's get right down to it. When I first booted up the game, the first thing that struck me was the art style. Being someone who remembers the original quite vividly, the new pixel aesthetic is actually a pretty damn good one. I can't complain. Everything just looks more sharp and well defined, and it's clean.
This is gonna be funny because the game's really dirty and there's shit everywhere.
Isaac itself is a game that thrives on two things: random generation and replayability. You can't beat the game in one run, it's physically impossible. When you start the game, you don't have access to everything. You start with one character, Isaac himself, a more limited pool of items that you can find, access to a limited selection of floors and bosses. You need to complete certain tasks or do certain things to get access to them. For example, in order to get access to any floors beyond the depths, you need to have beaten the mom boss in at least one run. This, combined with the random generation of floor plans, item placements, and enemy placements, leads to one hell of an addictive formula with endless replayability. Have I mentioned the soundtrack yet? Because it's fucking awesome. I've gone and listened to a majority of the songs from the soundtrack and I can't find one that I dislike. Not only that, they just enhance the experience tenfold. The aesthetic alone is enough to make your skin crawl at times, but that combined with the often haunting music can really immerse you into the game and put you on high alert. So seamlessly, in fact, that I often didn't realize it was happening to me until I beat the floor's boss and progressed, or died trying. That happens a lot. Speaking of dying, when you do, you get a nice little report on your run that you can hang on your fridge to show your friends how cool you are. It shows what did the killing blow along with all the items that you picked up. After that, you have the option to start a new run or head back to the menu. Or, you know, if you're salty, you can just mash the escape key until your game closes. There's actually a nice variety of things that you'll find laying around in the basement as you explore it. You can find permanent upgrades, passive granting items, bombs, keys, health, tarot cards, and pills to name a lot. The pills and cards in particular are just something I can't stop thinking about. The pills more so, though. At first, I always felt cheated when I took a pill. You know, it's like these pop chips. I felt misled. They advertised Elsa on the front of the bag, and when I opened it up, what did I find? No Elsa. I was hoping to enjoy a nice salted pills. Anyways, after a few more runs, I found myself realizing they were a nice risk-reward thing on the side. You don't have to use them, but they have the potential to offer a big boost in your run. And at the same time, as you take more, you start to memorize what each pill does, letting you better strategize as you do more and more runs. With the tarot cards, I always just got so curious whenever I found a new one. What would it do? Usually I waited till I was about to die to use them, but it didn't take away from the mystery at all. The enemies are all memorable in this game, the bosses especially. They all have unique designs, and the enemies that function in a similar way share these design choices. This leads to there being a sense of preparedness when going to floors you've never been to, or encountering enemies you've never seen before. If they look similar to something on an earlier floor, they probably function in the same way, at least marginally. For example, this spider enemy. On the earlier floors, they fire a triple blood burst, while variants of them from deeper floors fire a laser instead. Due to your past experience, though, you just know it's going to fire something in that way, because it's so similar to the first one. This is good game design. This actually carries over a lot into the game's core principles. I mean, it doesn't hold the player's hand at all. All it has for you is a tutorial on how to move around, and the rest you learn from falling on your teeth, so to speak. I actually didn't even know how to place bombs at first, so you could imagine my surprise when I killed myself after accidentally pressing E when hiding in a corner. My brother's actually a huge fan of this game, and he's wanted me to try it for so long. I kept putting it off, but after playing it I could definitely see why he thinks so highly of it. It's so simple, yet at the same time complex by design. Even a new player like myself can get really far, but someone with oodles more experience can plan builds and know what items synergize with other items and so on. Really quickly, let me step in to say that knowing what the items do is a huge thing that helps drastically. I was doing amazing on the first run I recorded. You can probably see it on screen right now if I'm editing this correctly, but just melting bosses. Then I picked up this stupid fucking thing, and it ruined everything by making my tears rotate around me instead of shooting out. Of course, I had to go into the womb next, and I absolutely got trashed. All in all, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is a beautifully crafted realization of a man's brilliant, albeit disturbing dream project that has immense replayability and a unique level of easy-to-pick-up, difficult-to-master mentality that you don't see every day. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is available on Steam for $14.99 in the United States. While that may seem like a lot at first, I can firmly say that if this looks like your type of game, you should definitely go for it. I'm not going to be giving this game a numerical score. In fact, any of the games I review in this series in the future won't have a score either. This is because I feel that people will just scroll to the end to see what number I give it and just completely invalidate all the thoughts that I put into it, so if you want to get something out of it, just watch the video and listen to what I said. But yeah, don't get me wrong, Binding of Isaac is great. Just give it a go. Just try it out. Trust me. And with that out of the way, thank you for watching. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my first video of 2017 and the first video of my channel relaunch. Feel free to leave any feedback on the video you have in the comments section, because I'll be sure to look through it all. If you enjoyed the video, it would mean a lot if you would leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.